In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to animate scene 1. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and hide my sky and my ground layer, and this will allow me to see the actual stage. Now, this is the only part whenever you export that's actually going to show. So what I'm going to do is I have my keyframes here, and I also came down here, and you should have a set of keyframes in frame 165. If you haven't done that part, then you would click right here, hold down Shift, come right here, and then you can do Function F6 to actually add those keyframes. Okay, so all the changes are going to take place on the actual keyframe. So for now, the only one I'm working on is my car. So I'm going to click on the second keyframe, and this is where I moved it because this is where I want the animation to end. Okay, so this is where it starts and that's where it ends. So I'm going to right click in between, notice that I said in between the two keyframes, and I'm going to create Classic Tween, and it is going to figure out what it should do to get from this keyframe to the next keyframe. Okay, so now if I want to see what it looks like, I'm going to press enter, and there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and hide that layer, and I'm going to reveal the sky and the ground. Now, one thing that I want you to take note is I had these aligned right up against the left-hand side. So make sure that you have that. Now, if you didn't have that to begin with, go ahead and remove the extra frames. So notice if I had to remove this, I could click right here in frame 2, not on the keyframe, scroll over, hold down Shift, and click on the last one, and it's going to select all the frames in between. And then I could right click and remove frames and start again. Okay, so there are a couple of things that I want to happen here. I do want the sky and the road to move so that it shows movement of the car. I also want my sky to change colors. So I'm going to come here to my last keyframe on my sky, and now I have to click one time on the sky, and you'll notice that my properties now reflect that symbol. Okay, right here you may have this closed here, but just click on the triangle and it will reveal it. Then I'll come here and go to, you can go to tint or brightness. I'm going to go ahead and go to brightness. Okay, and you can adjust how light or dark you want it to get. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, now also we're going to have movement here. So I'm going to click one time here, and notice that my sky and ground layer are unlocked at this point. Okay, I'm going to hold down Shift so that I have both of these selected. And I am going to press and drag these so that they line up with the other end of the stage. Okay, now there's also going to be a slight tint change in the ground, because if it gets darker outside, of course the roads look a little bit darker. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to adjust the brightness. Okay, now since I've made those two changes, now I'm going to right click in between, create Classic Tween. Okay, right click, create Classic Tween. And at this point I can reveal my car. So now I'm going to go to Command and Return, and I've got my animated car. So at this point, go ahead and save. So I'm going to do File, Save, and we will pick up here with the next one.